My M28 girlfriend 26 is refusing to sign a prenup even though she agreed in the beginning of the relationship. I come from a wealthy family, so I have a lot of money through inheritance. I met my girlfriend, Jamie, 3 years ago. When things started to get serious, I had a detailed conversation with her about my family's wealth and if she would be willing to sign a prenup. I said it was okay if she wasn't, but it just meant that I could not be with her. She said yes. We talked thoroughly about this and she kept reassuring me it'd be fine. Jamie and I were thinking about getting married. We were discussing marriage and I brought up the prenup because that is a big part of marriage. All of a sudden, she flipped the script and went off on me, as if we didn't have this discussion and she didn't say yes. She said she thought I would change my mind. That's not a valid reason. It would have been so much more less complicated if she told me how she really felt about a prenup. I told her it was non-negotiable, and she still continued to agree and say yes because she thought I would change my mind in the future. Have you talked about what a prenup would entail specifically? A lot of people have this idea that a prenup can mean one partner is left with nothing, and that's absolutely incorrect. Prenups that are super biased towards one party can get thrown out and are not always enforceable, which a lot of people don't know. Also, prenups for a lot of people feel insulting. It can feel like an accusation if the interests of both parties are not being considered fairly. If this document and this girl are super important to you, I'd try having one drawn up, letting her read it, and even offering to pay for a lawyer for her to go over it with her. If she sees this as something you're doing with her and not to her, she may change her mind. But she may be one of those people who on principle would never sign it, but at least then you've tried all you can, and you can choose to let this relationship go if that's what's best. I don't know for sure why she wouldn't be honest about her feelings about this, but if I had to guess, I'd say she thinks prenups are for people who don't truly love or trust one another, and she thought with time you'd trust/love her enough to not want it. That's a pretty dumb decision on her part, but now you know where you two stand. Break up with Jamie. So don't marry her. Done and done. Don't get walked all over. I think a good lawyer explaining how a prenup will both of you would help. She probably thinking that you would use that in case of divorce to leave her with nothing, but there can be all sorts of stipulations on you too. There could be affair clauses, having children clauses, etc. Most marriages start out with two people in love wanting to commit to each other. That becomes a financial entanglement years later. I had some broke friend saying he would get a prenup, she'll protect his non-existent riches. I told him if you make those riches after marriage, your wife will be entitled to some of it. You were upfront about it and she was hoping to sunk cost you out of it. She thought she'd get you hooked enough that you'd give up on it. Prenups only come into play if a divorce happens, so she's already considered it. I just found out that my BF, whom I've been dating for 2 years, is not actually 27 but 33 years/0 and is married and has 3 kids. What should I do now? Title says everything. We met 2 years ago on Tinder and we started dating. At that time, he lied to me that his age was 25, I was 23 then, and till day before yesterday, I thought he was 27 years old. But he's actually 33 fucking years old, and he's been married to a woman for over 7 years and he has 3 fucking daughters. I have never felt so hurt, so cheated, so betrayed in my life. I'm literally so fucking heartbroken. I've never been betrayal like this by anyone in my life till now. We literally talked about getting married and having children many times. I literally dreamt of having a family with him one day, but now thinking about all that, I feel so disgusted. I feel terribly hurt and I'm going insane. What should I do now? Please tell the wife. I'm sorry, he must have felt like such a waste of time. Terrible decision averted, thank goodness. You should run and never look back. Be grateful you're not the wife with 3 kids with this asshole. He's done a terrible thing to you and you have every right to be angry and hurt. Be thankful that your talks of a family never went further and you didn't get bound to this liar for 18 years. Does he know you're aware? How did you find out? I would cut off all contact and gently notify his wife. Tell his wife and block him. Never speak to him ever again. I hope you don't decide to stay with him. Please tell me you're not. Of course I'm not staying with him. Firstly, I feel so fucking uncomfortable that I was dating someone who's 8 years older to me. I know that it's not a huge age gap, but for me it is. Went full North Carolina with mom after having baby. My mom has never been, let's say, the nicest mom to my brothers and I. My father has been out of the picture for years. He's a convict and can't seem to stay out of trouble. My father's side of the family lives in Mexico, all of which I've never met. And on my mother's side I've only ever met my grandma, who is currently losing a battle to breast cancer. So my mom was all I really had. My mom struggles with pretty bad bipolar depression. She's known for getting physical, no I don't mean just spanking, being manipulative, and being controlling. She hates not getting her way. When I found out I was pregnant, my husband and I were very excited. My mother was too, but she was a little too excited. She began trying to control everything we would do with our expecting daughter, what she'd wear, her name, what school she would go to, whether she would be breastfed, and worst of all getting vaccinated. My mom is anti-vax, and she told me that she would not tolerate us vaccinating her because she didn't want a, enter derogatory word, granddaughter. P.S. It sounds like restarted. I told her absolutely not, and my husband and I would not put her health at risk under no circumstances. She did not like that. She said my daughter was her granddaughter and she should decide what's done with her since she's raised kids before. I put my foot down and told her to F off, and I would not be speaking to her until she's gotten therapy and I see that it's working. I blocked her on everything and have not spoken to her in a little over 5 months. My brothers are begging me to let her meet my daughter, but I refuse. Husband is on my side and feels it's in our daughter's best interest to not have my mom in her life. However, I do feel bad sometimes. I know my mom is sick mentally, and going North Carolina and not allowing her to meet my daughter feels a little cruel to me. Is there something else that could possibly work? Edit. Thank you to everyone who's given me advice. I've decided that, although I love my mom and miss her, I love my daughter much more and won't be allowing my mom back into my life, including supervised visits, until she gets therapy, which may or may not ever happen. Thank you everyone. She had her chance. You have nothing to feel guilty about. She could have wound her neck in from day one, but she couldn't. Whether she couldn't because she's malicious or because she's unwell doesn't matter, because this is your daughter's mental health and your ability to be a good parent that's at risk. No matter the reason, she couldn't do it. Protect your daughter. You're doing the right thing. ETA, just because you won't allow her to do her damage, doesn't mean you love her less, or you don't care about her, or you have to be angry with her. You can love your mother whilst being aware that having her in your daughter's life is a bad thing. It doesn't have to come from a place of anger. Don't let anger and guilt eat you up over this. Let yourself love her, but not blindly. You did the right thing. If your mother can't control herself, she shouldn't be in contact to you, your husband or your daughter. I would have done the exact same thing. Good luck to you and your family. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Being bipolar is no excuse for being a controlling asshole. Is there something else that could possibly work? Sincerely doubt it. Sometimes the only thing that narcissists understand is strictly enforced boundaries.